You kick it off this one.
Welcome to the podcast. I'm Lizzie.
And I'm John.
And this is Harry Potter and the Second Time Reader.
Okay, we're doing chapters 9 to 12.
Yay.
And they're good chapters. I'm excited to talk
are.
about Creature Cell because that's one of my faves. I love that chapter. But let's start with chapter 9, which is a place to hide. I'll give the summaries this time. This one is essentially they're just looking for a place to spot and hide, and they find 12 Grimmauld Place, and they kind of regroup in 12 Grimmauld Place. Not much else happens outside of that. Am I right?
I don't know.
Am I right?
Suddenly
I right?
I don't trust your summaries. Take control back.
But the first thing is first, and this is one discussion that they have. So the last chapter ends, the minister is dead. They get out of there real quick.
Yeah.
So they are at 12 Grimmauld Place.
Come here.
Do you think they talked about 12 Grimmauld Place and the safety of 12 Grimmauld Place? Do you really think that it's a safe spot?
I don't think it's any safer than the other 12 places they protected at this point.
Okay.
Like all the decoy houses. Come on, Wes.
Oh, you're so close. He was like thinking about it.
Because Snape is like able to get in, and they're kind of just like awaiting his arrival, I feel like.
Actually, another maybe more interesting question. They go to this cafe, and they got found out at this cafe by Death Eaters. How did they get found?
I don't know, because they, like, Lupin told them it wasn't the trace.
Yeah, can't be the trace.
Yeah, but that was so fast. Like, they were on them immediately. Yep. I was freaking out when that was happening. I was like, they're attacking each other. And then the Illuminator came in. But maybe one of the paintings in the building said something. Or no, they came from the burrow, right?
Yeah, they couldn't have. Yeah,
so there's no. I don't even. Maybe Voldemort's watching from inside Harry's mind. I feel like I don't have many options and things that it could be.
It's a good possibility.
Unless if like some object that's like on them has been jinxed or like traced, and then it just follows them. Or maybe the wand, because the wand has like a magic GPS in it.
But the wand kind of is the trace. So like if you're doing magic, it's kind of traced by the wand. Yeah. A little bit. The trace is a little strange. I like that he possibly goes into his mind there, and Voldemort's like, I've been to that cafe before. He's here. Go get him.
No, but he's never been there. Like, there's no chance of that. Yeah. And why, like, the Death Eaters, it's not just, like, a chance meeting, because they're in a Muggle town, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I don't know.
It's crazy. It's a little creepy.
It is very creepy.
So they do, after they get found, they get in a little fight, and they obviously win the fight. But the question is, there's, like, a debate that the group has, and there's this line. What are we going to do with them? Ron whispered to Harry through the dark. And even more quietly, kill them? They'd kill us. They had a good go just now. Hermione shuddered and took a step backwards. Harry shook his head. We just need to wipe their memories, said Harry. It's better like that. It'll throw them off the scent. If we killed them, it'd be obvious we were here. What should they really do with these people? And what do you think about them, Ron even proposing the idea that they kill them?
I think that's totally understandable.
Whoa. I remember I was listening to one podcast, I think in Order of the Phoenix, and you were like, I think if you kill someone, you should die.
Oh, yeah, no, I'm very back and forth. I'm saying the idea of killing the Death Eater is on the table. That makes sense. It's war. However, the point that, okay, you leave 2 dead Death Eaters in here, it's like that's obviously gonna create a bigger trail for everyone to follow. So I think they did the right thing by obliviating them.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think it's a good trial run for them to now have that skill, or at least Hermione does.
I know.
But yeah, I'm like, in the book, kill whoever you want. In real life, don't kill everybody, you know?
Yeah, and Hermione, to a scary degree, is becoming like a good obliviator. She did her parents
Yeah, that's true.
pretty well, and she's doing this guy right now. Both of these guys. I don't know if that's a skill that I would want to have. It's a little freaky.
I guess so.
Although there's another line that we have where after they're like done with this, Ron says, "It's no wonder I can't get it out. Hermione, you packed my old jeans. They're tight." Oh, so sorry, hissed Hermione as she dragged the waitress out of sight of the windows. Here you heard her mutter a suggestion as to where Ron could stick his wand instead.
Yeah. So funny. I love Ron and Hermione right now. Like, them being together is so good.
They're like an old little married couple, like fighting and complaining about the smallest little stuff.
Yeah.
But this might sound like a ridiculous question right now. Whose side are you on in this debate? So
of what?
Ron has his wrong jeans packed. Would you go back to the Burrow to get the right pair of jeans?
Isn't like everyone at the Burrow right now? Like there's a battle happening?
Maybe a little bit. Maybe you could sneak in with the invisibility cloak, get your good pair of jeans, and be back in a jiff.
I would not even pick jeans in the first place.
Yeah,
like that's not really the comfiest option.
Yeah.
But no, suck it up, lose some weight.
Yeah, that's a good impetus for Ron to lose a little weight. Yeah.
They're not going to be eating well on this journey, I would imagine anyway.
Yeah.
So
it's actually interesting.
He'll be down a few pounds next week. It'll be fine.
I wonder if there's any lines like later on in the series. It's like Ron's jeans are a little baggier or like something like that.
You would know.
I know. I gotta find that out. Okay, so they get to the whatchamacallit, 12 Grimmauld Place, and they have a bunch of defenses set up. What do you think about all these defenses? What do you think about like them even going there in the first place?
I thought that dead person thing was serious.
Ooh.
And then I was like, whoa, what in the world? Like he's defending his house. And then they said something about it being Dumbledore, and it's like, I like killed you, or like I killed Dumbledore or something like that. And I was like, oh, it's supposed to be Dumbledore. But that is so weird to me. And then all of that's Mad Eye's, or it seems like that's Mad Eye's magic. So it's like staying.
Yeah, which is that was the one I was thinking of.
Yeah.
Because you asked that last podcast about like, can your magic stay or can it not? And I was thinking specifically of this one where it seems to be his magic and it's sticking around after he dies. I don't know. Did he like enchant the dust? I don't know what that magic is.
Because part of it just feels like a normal like booby trap where like it's a tripwire and then like the thing comes up.
Yeah.
But I guess it is all magic.
Yeah.
I don't know. I like that they're there. I think that's really cool. And I like how jumpy they all are in the beginning. Like they don't trust it. And then by the end of it, it's like completely clean. And they're like apparating and disapparating like it's nothing. I really like that. I think it's cool. But yeah, I mean, it feels like safe enough right now because there's Death Eaters outside and they're not coming in. But
I mean, they're definitely nervous of Snape or anybody else who can possibly come in and like infiltrate. But they definitely do seem a little safe, at least safe for now.
Yeah. And they don't, I think as soon as they know for sure that they're in that house, then they're unsafe. But I think they're just on like general monitoring of all of these places right now.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, this chapter is like very much a transitional chapter. They don't have a ton of dialogue, but a bunch of weird stuff happens in this. And like you're a little unsettled because they just kind of had this little, they fled the scene of this little potential fight that was popping up. And they, go to all these places that they're not sure of. But then at the end of this chapter, they finally find out this family's safe. They say, do not reply. We are being watched. And it's like thrown with a silver Patronus in the air. Where it solidified into the weasel that spoke the voice of Ron's father. I love that Mr. Weasley's Patronus is a weasel. That's so great to me. But yeah, nothing really else happens in this. Yeah, do you have anything else? I really wanted to talk about the next chapter. The next chapter is the most interesting one to me.
There's some good lines in this chapter. I like this line. The only thing that was out of place was the troll's leg umbrella stand, which was lying on its side as if Tonks had knocked it over again. It's like, Tonks.
Yeah, little tidbits of Tonks. I love that.
Anyway.
Yeah, there's some good lines in here. Okay, chapter 10, Creature's Tale. This is one of the most fascinating chapters to me. But this is essentially just Creature kind of giving the downloaded information of what he did in the cave.
And he finds the letter.
Yeah.
The letter made me cry.
The letter is brutal.
Oh, it was so... I was like not prepared for that.
Yeah.
And then the whole thing about the G's being the same and the handwriting.
Yeah.
Ugh, my heart.
When I was rereading this a few weeks ago, this was a chapter that I didn't really remember. I mean, I always liked this chapter. I remembered it. It's definitely like my top 5. I don't know, but I remember reading it and like Harry's realization of the letter and like the how he made the same like T's or something like that as G's. Yeah. Like it's the smallest little stuff that she's good at putting in her writing, and it just made me well up. It's a great little section of writing here.
She had made her G's the same way he did. He searched through the letter for every one of them, and each felt like a friendly little wave glimpsing from behind a veil.
Yeah. It's so good.
It's just so good.
But the content of the letter, I want to talk about the content of the letter real quick. It says this. Thank you for Harry's birthday present. It was his favorite by far. 1 year old and already zooming along on a toy broomstick. He looked so pleased with himself. I'm enclosing a picture so you can see. He not only rises 2 feet off the ground, but he nearly killed a cat, and he smashed a horrible vase Petunia had sent me for Christmas. No complaints there. Is Petunia why is Petunia giving a vase to her sister? Is there something behind that?
I don't know. Now I feel like I should be thinking about that. What is the vase? I don't remember any other vases in this story. But also I would never pay attention to that. I feel like I'm surprised that she gave her a gift anyway. I guess it's before Harry dies and the whole thing goes down. But a vase? I don't know. Is this important?
It's vitally important. Maybe.
Sure.
We'll see.
This is like the urn that she uses for her ashes.
Oh my gosh. That's so bleak.
It's not. It gets smashed anyways.
After that, she says, Bathilda drops in most days. She's a fascinating old thing with the most amazing stories about Dumbledore. I'm not sure if he'd be pleased if he knew. I don't know how much to believe, actually, because it seems incredible that Dumbledore... ... What was this going to say? And why does Dumbledore have the invisibility cloak?
I don't know. First of all, I'm surprised that like she was alive at the same time. I thought she was like way older. Like she was part of history. Bathilda.
Oh, Bathilda Bagshot. I thought you were talking about Lily. I was like, what?
Not Lily.
Yeah.
Because she just seemed like, oh, she's a historian.
Yeah.
She's old. But maybe I was thinking that James was trying to like sneak out and do stuff for the order, kind of like how Sirius did later. And then Dumbledore like took his cloak so that he couldn't do that.
Okay.
That was all. That was my thoughts. Because she says something. We were so sorry you couldn't come, but the order's got to come first, and Harry's not old enough to know it's his birthday anyway. So like they're prioritizing the order over family. Lupin does that later when he's like, oh, leave Tonks and the baby.
Wild.
Yeah. So I'm like, everyone is prioritizing the order. That happened like in the other book too. I don't remember which one. Maybe I guess the Order of the Phoenix. Where people are like, it just, if you're in the order's first. But I'm assuming James was trying to like sneak out and do stuff, but I don't know why he should be like hiding in the first place.
Yeah.
Maybe he like did a mission and then he like kind of got caught and he had to go into hiding to like protect himself for a small period of time.
Wait, Dumbledore had to do this? or
No,
James?
James.
Okay.
And then it was like safer that way that he's like hiding.
So wait, you don't know why James and Lily are hiding right now?
No, am I supposed to?
They're hiding because Voldemort's after them. So that's
But
like the
why is he
prophecy.
after them?
Because just what the prophecy said. So
But
it's
like,
maybe a little
how would he know that he's the chosen one?
because they've located the prophecy. It could be talking about two people.
But how do you know it's like the parents? I still don't understand the prophecy. This is probably why I forgot Harry Potter's, because like fundamentally the base of the plot is
The
still
one,
messed
okay, so
up.
this is it. The one with the power to vanquish the Dark Lord approaches. Born to those who have thrice defied him.
Okay, so they did something 3 times to
Three
defy
times.
him.
Born as the 7th month dies. So you have to be born at the end of July. And there's only 2 people who have thrice defied him. And there's only, or 2 families, and there's only 2 families.
So how did they thrice defy him?
I don't know.
What does
Like
that
little
even
battles or
mean?
something like that. Like you've like fought against his Death Eaters 3 times or something like that. Or it's an interesting question of what it means to thrice defy him.
Okay, so that's kind of what I was saying. Like they did something against him.
Yeah.
That could be like the defying him.
Agreed.
And then they go into hiding. But then the entire prophecy takes over and it's like, all right, now we have to kill Harry.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
They're definitely, yeah, honestly, I don't know why, but I'm having a slight brain fart because I don't know if Harry's parents are actually hiding because of the prophecy, because I don't know if they actually knew the prophecy or not.
That's what I was thinking. Because that would be like a thing on Voldemort's end. It wouldn't be like, oh, you know the prophecy. There's 3 times. Go hide. Maybe Dumbledore like forced them into hiding and then took the cloak. Because Dumbledore was like, oh no, now the prophecy is going to come true. Take the cloak, go into hiding.
Yeah, it might be that because they are cooped up. And James is going a little stir crazy because he can't really go on missions or do anything or go outside that much.
They were Aurors?
No. They were young and they had just graduated and they almost as soon as they had Harry, they like went into hiding. I'm Googling all this right now.
Clickety-clack.
You know. The Dark Lord tag them as his next victims.
This is why I keep saying I need a visual timeline.
I know. I guess because Voldemort did mark them as his next victim, so they go into hiding then. But I don't know if they know everything about the prophecy, to be honest.
So they're just hiding because they're on the hit list?
Yeah.
Not because
not because they know
Harry Potter?
Yeah. Probably something similar to that. I don't know how he marked him as his equal, or he marked him as like his target too. He put out like wanted posters or something like that.
Are you actually not sure?
Yeah. I'm legitimately unsure of that.
I don't know when to.
Because this is throwing me for a loop now. I've always thought like they knew some of the prophecy, so they were hiding because of that. But I'm not positive now.
What if Snape told them the prophecy? Because Snape knew the first part of the prophecy.
Yeah, Snape was the one that overheard it. Yeah.
And then he could go back to them and be like, "Hey, you guys thrice defied him. Just so you know, there's a prophecy."
That's very wishful thinking.
But was Snape in the Order at that point still? Like,
no.
Oh.
He was like fully on Voldemort's
side.
Oh yeah. He only came back after.
That's right. Okay.
You thoroughly confused me right now.
I've thoroughly confused you.
I probably thoroughly confused you. Yeah. I'll think over that. Maybe I'll have some more concrete answers for you later.
Add a little blip in there when you edit it.
I know, agreed, yeah. But yeah, that line that you read before, he said he read the letter again, but could not take in any more meaning than it had done the first time, and was reduced to staring at the handwriting itself. She made her G's the same way he did. He searched through the letter for every one of them, and each felt like a friendly little wave, glimpsed from behind a veil. The letter was an incredible treasure, proof that Lily Potter had lived, really lived, that her warm hand had once moved across the parchment, tracing ink into these letters, these words. Words about him, Harry, her son. Oh, it's so good. It's such good writing.
I love how that sentence gets more and more personal.
Yeah.
It's like words.
Yep.
Words about him, Harry, her son.
It's so crushing. It's so good. Such good writing. Okay. This is when we kind of transition into a little bit of Creature's tale. So they're like hanging out in the house. They find Creature. And they kind of order Creature to tell them like what happened with. Do you remember with what? Like what was the impetus behind that?
Figuring out who RAB was.
Okay.
And then like the locket that he stole and that might be in the closet.
Yes.
And then it wasn't in the closet, so then they start talking to him.
Yeah.
To Creature.
So they're hoping to find this locket, and then this is kind of like why they start talking to Creature. This is one of the lines that Creature talks about, and he says, "This then was how Voldemort had tested the defenses surrounding the Horcrux by borrowing a disposable creature, a house elf. There was a basin, or he says, there was a basin full of potion on the island. The Dark Lord made Creature drink it. The elf quaked from head to foot. Creature drank. As he drank, he saw terrible things. Creature's insides burned. Creature cried for Master Regulus to save him. He cried for his mistress Black, but the Dark Lord only laughed. He made Creature drink all the potion. He dropped the locket inside the empty basin, filled it with more potion." This story probably changes your mind on Creature, but how much sympathy and pity do you have for Creature now?
A lot.
Right?
Yeah. I really like Creature.
Yeah, I know. He's great.
That is crazy that
yeah,
he did that and like he survived. And I feel like you were trying to like get me to that point when we were in that section of the book because you're like a child, something small, different magic. And then I read that and I was like, I should have got that.
Yeah.
But oh well.
It was Voldemort's. He thinks he's brilliant when he's doing this. He lacks a little bit of sense, but yeah, this makes me have a lot of sympathy for Creature, a lot of pity for Creature. He has another line, which is tough, even tougher. Creature knew how to open the concealed entrance to the underground cavern, knew how to raise the tiny boats. This time, it was his beloved Regulus who sailed with him to the island with its basin of poison. "And he made you drink the potion?" said Harry, disgusted. But Creature shook his head and wept. Hermione's hand leapt to her mouth. She seemed to have understood something. Master Regulus from his pocket, a locket. Master Regulus took from his pocket a locket like the one the Dark Lord had, said Creature, tears pouring down either side of his snout-like nose. And he told Creature to take it, and when the basin was empty, to switch the lockets. What do you think of all of Creature's tale here? What do you think about this whole story that he's kind of gone through?
It's wild.
Yeah.
I was not expecting any of it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I have more questions about Regulus now too. Like, I want to know more about him and why he decided to start Horcrux hunting.
Yeah.
And like, I guess he knew about it because he was a Death Eater, but it doesn't feel like all Death Eaters know about the Horcruxes.
That's a really interesting question for why Regulus started this like search for this, why he was hunting for this. Is it because he just really loved Creature, or is there like something deeper behind that? And maybe
didn't he say something about like protecting his family and like just doing it himself? Because I thought it was like, okay, maybe don't do Creature again, but like go find a different elf and make that elf drink the potion. But yeah, why didn't Dumbledore think about the elf? Or did he and he didn't want to endanger an elf because he like is for elf rights?
Dude, it's a great question.
He would rather kill himself than kill an elf.
Why your question is great. Why did Dumbledore, I mean, your question way back when was why did Dumbledore take Harry rather than Snape? Now you have that answered. He took Harry rather than Snape because only Harry and him could fit in the boat, really. Because like Voldemort overlooked people who he deemed was lesser than him, and Harry was still a kid. His like magical power didn't even register. But why didn't he take a house elf? Why didn't he take Dobby?
Yeah, because if he knew 2 people couldn't fit in the boat,
Yeah.
he would. I'm 100% confident he would have came up with the idea of bring a house elf.
Yeah.
But maybe he's just too noble for that.
But
like killing yourself in front of one of your students is not very
Oh,
noble.
yeah, agreed.
Especially he needs you still.
You could do it with a house elf and just tell the house elf to like, hush up.
Or just do this Horcrux last. Like realize that you have to drink the potion, leave, go hunt all the other Horcruxes with Harry, and then come back to the cave with Harry.
That's a little bit of a risk too, because like Voldemort could. They don't know how much Voldemort checks up on these things. So he could like take a creature in there, like creature, huh? He could take like some kind of creature in there once a month and go check up on the Horcrux and to see if it's still there. And like there might be like when we were in the cave, the creepy thing was all those in Fury. Like, where did all of them come from?
Yeah.
Did he like transport them in the cave, or is Voldemort going there like once a week with another person, and then killing them and then throwing them in the water, and making them in a Fury?
What if it's just the grave for all of the Death Eater?
Yeah, it's a great. Oh man, that's creepy. Do you think
the mass grave?
Yeah. Do you think that Regulus is dead or alive?
I hate this question. I just want to think all the people that are dead, but I kind of feel like nobody that's dead is dead. He went into the water. I think if he survived, he would have come back to Creature, or would have like, okay, he makes it out of the cave, he's in whatever country that is, and then he calls Creature to him and like makes sure that Creature has destroyed it. I don't think if he was alive, he would have just let it be.
Yeah.
But how did he write the note? Or the note was already in the locket.
It was already in the locket, yeah.
I don't know. There's like no answers in all of these chapters. Like I get it's very just more early questions. On.
Yep.
But yeah, there's absolutely no closure. It's just like more depth.
And then there's like another point to it where I mean like not all you can round out certain things in these chapters to come to some kind of conclusions about it. But even like with why he brought Harry, I think you understand it to some extent right now, because if Dumbledore is trying to like defeat Horcruxes and defeat Voldemort, Harry probably has to be involved in that somehow, and he's showing Harry how it's done here. He's showing him like the stakes and like the sickness that Voldemort has, where he like does this kind of stuff. So I think it was useful that Harry saw that. I don't know, like it's a bit extreme. But yeah, none of your questions are really being answered here. He just gives you more questions, and it just isn't like going to pop more theories in your head.
Yeah, I have 0 answers.
It's not going to, They're great chapters, though. Especially one of the last little lines in this where it says, Creature, I want you, please, to go find Mundungus Fletcher. We need to find out where Master Regulus's locket is. It's really important. We want to finish the work that Master Regulus started. We want to ensure he didn't die in vain. Creature dropped his fists and looked up at Harry. Find Mundungus Fletcher, he croaked. And bring him here to Grimmauld Place, said Harry. Do you think you could do that for us? Creature nodded and got to his feet. Harry had a sudden inspiration, and he pulled Hagrid's purse and took out the fake Horcrux, the substitute locket, in which Regulus had placed the note to Voldemort. So he gives it to him. But I have 2 questions. What do you think about Harry giving this to him? And how are they going to open the locket?
Just the locket opens at the close.
Oh, okay.
Back to that.
Interesting.
I think it's good that he gave him the locket, because what else are you going to give him? And he's really trying to get on his side, on his good side. You can't give him clothes. And the locket's meaningful to him. So I like that he did that. And I think Harry needs to let go of the locket too, because that was becoming a little weird to me.
Yeah, for sure.
So I support that decision. But how are we going to destroy the Horcrux?
Because they talk about how they couldn't get it open. So
Oh yeah.
this is like the wilder thing, that they were actually in possession
Yeah,
of this
that's
Horcrux in the
insane.
5th book when they were all trying to get it open, and then Creature was like, I couldn't get it open, so he kind of gave up, and then that's when Munungus came in and took it, and he has it now.
That's
So
crazy.
if they can't get it open, how are they going to actually get this Horcrux open? With the snitch, I open at the close. This is all connected.
Everyone is always connected. I don't know. I just need to sit here and like think about this for hours on end.
I know, and you're fresh off of these
I
chapters.
know. I haven't had any time to process.
You haven't had stew time.
I should have slept.
No, it's all right. This is great. It's kind of fun stuff.
So is the locket opening at the close? That's like obvious because it opens at like the hinge. I don't think it's talking about the locket.
Okay.
The locket was in the cabinet, and I had a moment. I was like, "Oh, the cabinet." I said something about the cabinet, but that's like a normal cabinet.
Okay.
I still feel like the snitch is gonna open, and I don't know. I think maybe there's like a. No, never mind. That's not. I was gonna say there's like some method of destroying the Horcruxes like in the snitch.
Okay.
If the snitch is opening like a little Easter egg, as I'm picturing it.
Okay.
I don't know, because they don't even know how to kill the Horcrux. But maybe some of the Order knows, and they can just... No, because you can't even like write a letter and be like, how would one destroy a Horcrux? Because everyone would know what I guess they could go to Slughorn. Maybe Slughorn could become their like number one
little source of information. Yeah.
That would actually be really cool.
That'd be smart.
Because like Lupin is like, get me in on this business. Like I want to do it. And that to me was just like, that felt wrong.
Yeah.
And I had a little bit of distrust for Lupin.
Yeah.
For like the first time ever.
That is a wild one. I can't wait to talk about that one.
But if you found Slughorn again and you like cornered him and was like, make him, I don't know, kill the Horcrux, tell you everything he knows. Maybe it's just in Hermione's books. Like maybe she can just read the books and figure out how to kill a Horcrux.
Yeah, for sure.
Because like, I don't know what kind of magic is unmagicable again. There's
a point too where Slughorn showed how like impenetrable his mind was in the last book, where he was completely unwilling. The only thing that got him unwilling to do it was him being drunk. And I don't think he knows he even gave up the full memory. Because like it says, Harry knew he was going to forget about this in the morning. So I don't think he knows what he's done in giving up Harry the memory. So if Harry goes back to Slughorn and is like, you need to tell me how to defeat these things and kill these things, I think Slughorn will just be so adamant, because I think he's so overridden with guilt for like aiding Voldemort in this. I don't think he's going to be like, okay, let me lay it out for you.
If you Imperious him, can you still like use his knowledge, or does that?
I think so. It's like a glaze. So you'd have to like give him Veritaserum, but I mean, he's like a potion master. He's going to have all these antidotes on him already. So if he takes Veritaserum, he starts spilling his truth, he's going to like go in his pocket and be like, oh, I'm going to take this.
I still feel like you could just walk up to Slughorn in whatever house he's crashing in at the moment and be like, I found a Horcrux. We're going to kill this right now. And you're not going to leave until we do. And I feel like if you held it in front of his face, he would want to destroy it. Because it's like, I think he's still guilty about it based on his memory. You know? It would be so... I kind of hope that Slughorn comes back like that. But he's probably just going to die for some reason. Maybe you need to just do something with the Elder Wand.
So they got to find the Elder Wand, and the Elder Wand is going to be the thing that kills all these Horcruxes.
Maybe every spell that comes out of the Elder Wand.
Where is the Elder Wand?
I don't even know what it is.
Yeah, what is the Elder Wand?
I don't know. Dumbledore's wand?
Who is the Elder Wand? Will you wear wigs?
Do you wear wigs? Every time you go, maybe, that's what I think about.
Maybe.
Yeah. Now this is like an inside joke and everyone's I know, confused. Seriously.
A lot of people have seen that. Yeah.
I don't know. Did I like even touch your question at all?
Yeah. Okay. Great. They were great.
I don't even remember the things.
Whatever questions I asked, you can forfeit and then answer anything that you want or talk about anything that you want.
I feel like I'm doing that inadvertently.
That's great. That's
just
perfect.
like I'm trying, but I don't think I'm there. Just dancing around the topic.
All right, let's go to chapter 11, which is the bribe, because I really just want to talk about Lupin in this chapter. Because this is a chapter where they talk to Lupin and it has like a whole little bit of information, and he's like, I'm leaving. He's like, I'll help you guys out with anything you need. I'll abandon my wife and my forthcoming child to help you guys.
And yeah, he's like, I made a terrible mistake.
Yep.
This is like, I shouldn't have done this. And I was like, oh my gosh, when I was reading this, it was like insane to me. I just like, how could you do that? Like, you made a terrible mistake.
Yeah.
Like, I think they'd be fine together, but I think it is just the timing of like the fact that they're both in the order and the world is crashing down. That's like the main issue, because even if they weren't in the order right now, I think their marriage would be fine. Positions. Like if you were just a normal wizard right now, I think it'd be fine.
Yeah.
And then, okay, so you have a little wolf baby. Just like stay at home until Voldemort dies, you know?
Yeah.
Put a fence in your yard and let him roam free. Like, I feel like that'd be kind of cute, low key, like wolf babies. But I don't think they're gonna be like very wolfish.
I mean, Lupin's not very wolfish.
No. I think it's fine. I can't believe that he was saying that and saying it to Harry, and then like doing some spell to Harry where he's like knocked into the wall. I was like, you're a grown man.
Yeah, I know. This is Lupin's low moment.
This is so bad.
Yeah.
It's really bad.
Yeah, I want to talk more about that because I want to like do a little deep dive on Lupin for a bit. But before that, they are looking at these objects again. Do you have any further theories on why Dumbledore left them these three objects? Open at the close. The Deluminator and this little book.
The Deluminator has already come in handy.
Yeah.
So that's cool.
Yep.
Maybe there's like something hidden in. I just imagine like a lighter. Like the old fat
feels like
lighters
that, yeah.
with the pop-up lid.
Yeah, it feels like
That's
that.
what I think. No, I don't have any further theories. The only thing is now that Snape is headmaster, that he has the sword.
Yeah. So
that's not even my own thought though. That's just like fact. I don't have any more theories. I have had zero time to think about this, actually.
What do you think about Snape being headmaster?
I hate it. It's like the worst thing possibly ever to happen to Hogwarts.
Yep.
In Hogwarts history.
And it's a double whammy too.
Where's McGonagall too?
I know. She's still there.
How is she not headmistress?
Because the school's under Voldemort's like influence now.
But she's literally the headmistress. They're just going around all of the rules.
Yeah.
So Snape is like, I feel like Snape can't be happy that he's headmaster though. I feel like, because he at least has to deal with like McGonagall, Sprout.
Yeah, for sure.
Whoever else is left that's good. There's like some, I don't know, like that's not cool to be around people like that. Where like, oh, I betrayed you. I killed our leader, Dumbledore. Like he can't be cool with that decision, but he's gonna have to be, I guess.
Yeah, he's definitely not feeling great after what he's done, and he probably feels a lot of guilt for for killing Dumbledore and for being around these people that like hate him and that know what he's done.
You literally killed the headmaster, and then you become the headmaster like that.
You become what you kill, or something. I don't know. There's some phrase in that. Yeah,
you are what you kill.
You are what you kill. But it's not good news. And he's in possession of the sword too, which is like a double whammy.
Yeah, because that might be a Horcrux.
Yeah. Or even to your point, that might be what they use to kill Horcruxes. Like there's a possibility, because you said that last podcast.
Yeah, I guess so.
You forgot it. You don't even remember what you
No,
said
I
last time.
remember it. I'm just like I feel less certain about that. Like
Yeah.
I don't know. Cuz I feel like it has to be a spell. Cuz any way you use a sword it's going to be like blunt force. So unless it's the sword itself has been magicked like then you need a spell to kill a Horcrux, I think. Or like a volcano that you chuck it in.
Okay, we're doing crossovers here. That is Lord of the Rings, but I wonder if you threw a Horcrux in a vat of like lava, if it would dissolve the Horcrux. Interesting
Well,
questions.
the whole thing is like the ring, that's where it came from, basically.
Yeah.
So the Horcrux came. Maybe you could just like feed it to Voldemort.
He has to
Just
eat it.
make him eat it.
It's like the snitch. It has a flesh memory. When you eat it, it undoes itself. Only remorse can. So he's got to be remorseful over what he's done in order for it to
Maybe
be
you
undone.
can like bring the Horcrux to the person that died when it was made, and you can like do some spell with their like bones and their body and
creepy.
like reintertwine them, and then that's it.
That's really creepy.
Because there's still like no other information about that other than somebody has to be killed. Then you can make a Horcrux.
Yeah, and Joe hasn't given us any extra information on anything too. Like she's refused. People have asked her and she's like, oh, it's too dark to talk about. She wrote it one time for her editor and her editor is like, no, we can't include this in any books or anything like that. So like she included more detail. But I'd be curious like what other fan theories are on what happens to the people who are the victims of Horcrux making. Like are they in a weird way like Horcruxes themselves?
I feel like they are.
Yeah. It's a fascinating little question.
Because the soul, it said, can like flit to nearby things. So I almost feel like you kill somebody, maybe your soul like flits into them, and then you kind of like, I don't know, is that like some form of torture or something before you're actually dead? Or they like melt and like rot into nothingness, and then like you have to go back and flit into an object then because like you've destroyed a human.
That's gross.
It's like you've killed their soul, but then you've also destroyed their body. And then the Horcrux. I don't know.
That's really gross.
That's crazy that she wrote something and then just was like, no, you guys can't take it.
Yeah. It's
maybe
like
when she dies, they'll like release everything.
No way. I don't think there's like there's certain things I think she kept between her editor that she probably like burned after she had them. If she dies and they release things, I'll be bummed. I hate when they do that kind of stuff. And she's been really good about like releasing. She's like written other stuff, but on her website, and she's like very adamant she's not writing anything else about it. So like she's finished this little like canon of Harry Potter, and she's like moving on with other stuff, which is fine. But the fans like have taken over for some stuff now. So like HBO, Warner Brothers, they're kind of taking the helm on like maybe expanding the universe, which is good. I think it should happen. But this is the one of the more devastating lines. You don't understand, said Lupin at last. Explain then, said Harry. Lupin swallowed. I made a grave mistake in marrying Tonks. I did it against my better judgment, and I have regretted it very much ever since. I see, said Harry. So you're just going to dump her and the kid and run off with us? Lupin sprang to his feet. His chair toppled over backward, and he glared at them so fiercely that Harry saw for the first time ever the shadow of the wolf upon his human face. Don't you understand what I've done to my wife and my unborn child? I should never have married her. I've made her an outcast. Should Lupin have married Tonks?
Like, the wolf aspect of this does not matter to Tonks, I don't think. Either it mattered and she made peace with it and she put it aside, but like, I don't think that's really a factor to Tonks because she loves him regardless.
Okay.
So he's like all up in his head about this. And he's literally going to jeopardize their whole marriage, their whole family, because he thinks that's like a big factor. And like, talk to Tonks, and I'm sure Tonks is going to be like, I know you're a werewolf. I'm fine with that. Like, Lupin hasn't internalized that, I don't think. And then
Lupin
now
hasn't
he's
internalized
like,
that. I will say that there is a slight point that Lupin has, and that he is very dangerous, and he has made.
He's not.
Yeah, he's okay to some extent, but he can be. He has the potential to be very dangerous.
But he hasn't been for years.
Yeah.
And now he's like, this is what I'm saying, because of their jobs. The jobs is like the main factor here. Because he's on orders to like become a werewolf. But it's like not a factor when he has his potion all the time. And I'm sure someone else besides Snape can like learn how to make this potion too.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, he's probably getting it from other sources all over the place, not just Snape. So he's probably just, slips his Wolfbane potion. But it's even more so than that. It's like some of the like minutia of him that he's talking about. Like he's made them outcasts. Like they can't like do a ton because, they're deemed as, these lesser than people because Lupin's a werewolf. And Lupin is dealing with immense guilt over some of the stuff. So some of the stuff is petty, and I completely agree with you. But is there any point to it where Tonks doesn't even know what has happened to her, and she's just like head over heels for this guy and isn't really looking at the consequences? Do you think that at all? Or do you think Tonks is going into this knowing what she's getting herself into?
I think she probably knows what she's getting herself into, but she's so in love that it doesn't matter to her.
Yeah.
But like maybe that's fine with her just being an outcast or being a little hermit for the rest of her life. She seems so cool in the beginning. Like I don't want her to have no life and no friends.
I know.
But she has the whole order, and I feel like a lot of people do support her, and they have like the same friend group anyway. Mm-hmm. So if you kind of have that anyway and nobody else cares.
Yeah, she's got a little support group, so she's kind of good.
Yeah. So I feel like low-key you just need like 3 friends and you're fine. Yeah. Or like some of us.
So TikTok, it's like all you need. You don't need a whole crew of friends. You just need 3 little MFers and you're feeling good. And it's like everyone showing like 3 dogs or 3 dogs or whatever.
Because I feel like she has Mrs. Weasley. That's a good friend.
Yeah, for sure.
We've literally never encountered anyone else's Tonks age.
Mm-hmm. Lupin is you've nailed him on the head. He is very stuck in his own head about this. He thinks things are like maybe much more significant deal than Tonks does, because I think Tonks is still going out and she can still have a social life and live. I think Lupin doesn't really let himself do that because of the guilt and because he's like very much a loner and because all his friends have died and he's like bearing that guilt. Mm-hmm. So he doesn't let himself free or off the hook for that. And now he feels even more guilty because he brought someone else into this mess, which he still thinks is a mess, but Tonks doesn't think is a mess. But now he's trying to come with the reckoning that like Tonks has to live the life that he's living.
I think Tonks is so secure and independent anyway that she would be out there like wolf babies and all, and like
for sure
not care at all
and have like the full confidence to be like yeah these are no problem with me.
But I think this all goes back to Lupin's issue of like running away from his problems instead of working through them, because 100%. This could easily be worked through to me, or in my opinion.
How?
Let's talk about it.
Therapy.
Not even just like between themselves. Like I really feel like the marriage was rushed from the hospital back in the other book to this. I'm like, if we held off for like 6 months, you could have all these conversations then. Maybe it wouldn't be so bad.
Agreed.
Because then Lupin, I think, also feels so trapped because he's married now, which I think worsens the like the flight response of like, escape, I'm trapped.
Yep.
But I don't know. Like, he should just let himself love Tonks and it'll all be fine because they love each other. And love always wins. Love isn't real.
Yeah. Easier said than done, though. Mm.
But, like, they're in a relationship. Like, they can just let it go and just, like, I don't know.
I think this relationship would work great had Lupin wrapped his head around certain things. Again, I'm kind of with you. If Lupin had maybe like 6 more months and the other people weren't pushing him into this, I still think he would have. I think he really loves Tonks. You even see that in his response in some way here. He thinks what he's doing is the best thing for Tonks. It's obviously not. He's kind of a fool. He's kind of stupid here. But he's trying to love her in the best way that he can at the moment because he's like freaking out and panicking. But if he didn't have the pressure from the outside for everyone saying like, oh, you should get married, love each other. And then if they spent more time just sitting down and talking about some of this stuff, I think they would have been great.
They need to go on more dates.
Yeah, seriously. Yeah, they need more date nights.
I feel like if they just didn't get married for like a year or something.
Yeah.
Because it is sad for him to feel so rushed.
Agreed.
And like he's placing the blame on himself. But at the end of the day, I feel like there's nothing to blame yourself for. Because if Tonks doesn't care that you're a wolf, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. And Tonks
unless if you're going to like eat your own baby or like something whack like that. But I don't see that happening.
I feel like Tonks is good enough that she can like stop that.
Yeah.
If Lupin's feeling wolfy, she can just like, cast a few spells and protect
Wolfish.
her. Yeah, exactly. How did Harry handle the whole situation? How did you like how Harry dealt with it?
I don't know. Honestly,
it's a little intense.
I get that response because like I'm a bit that way of where like I would just rather say like the wrong thing and like get through it and like have the impact that I want to have and just like I'm a very like fight through it, like work through it type of person. And I don't like when people have a problem and they're like just like run away from the issue and they're like, I don't want to talk about it. And like that's I think literally Harry's like the fight through, work through person, and then Lupin's the runaway person. And like this clash has happened so many times in my life. But then like
you're the fight person?
Oh yeah. Like that was like so many issues with me and my sisters, just like learning how to get along was like I realized I like if I'm mad or I'm like irritated, I would rather like
get it all out.
And I'll be very intense and like very loud and like whatever, but I'm not like actually angry at anybody because I'm like I'm angry at the problem. I'm angry at like like whatever's happening. I'm not angry at you. But then like my sister would literally just like go lock herself in her room and I would be like at her door like let's freaking talk about this, like what's the matter. So anyway, then that was like so much of like things I had to learn was like sometimes like I don't know, like people appreciate space instead of like because like the facing the problems like very intimidating to some people. But I don't know, I guess you learn to let it go on my part. But we're friends now.
Usually those things work out, but
yeah,
you gotta find the healthy balance between not running away from all your problems and not confronting your problems immediately.
I still feel like Harry was a little bit on the attack of Lupin though, instead of like facing the issue and like coming up with a solution.
Harry is very rash. He could have done this a different way, been a bit more tactful in it.
Yeah.
But he achieved the desired outcome.
He did.
Did the ends justify the
means?
And
there was a line of something like, how would James have thought about him insulting his friend like that? Yeah. It's like, ooh, I don't think James would have liked that.
Yeah.
The way he handled it. I want to find that line.
Don't get me wrong. I kind of love. Because Harry is like learning who his father is a little bit more. And I don't know, maybe I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong on that. Because I don't have the highest opinion of James. So maybe Harry is just like putting the ideal version of who he thinks James is here. Rather than...
Here we go. Would James have backed Harry in what he had said to Lupin, or would he have been angry at how his son had treated his old friend?
Yeah.
And he doesn't ever think about like, how would my parents think of me right now?
Yeah.
He's very separate from them.
Yep.
But I don't think he would have liked it. Because I feel like they have the Marauder people, like they have a very strong brotherhood. Yeah. And I feel like there's, like you stand up for each other to the death. So I think he would have been pissed.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. It's a good question. It's a good chapter though. Very good chapter.
Yeah, I really like this chapter.
At the end, you like go to loving creature because he's like got a pan. He's like hammering Mundungus. And then he
Like,
goes,
one more.
yeah, perhaps just one more, Master Harry, for luck. Ron laughed. We need him conscious, creature. But if he needs persuading, you can do the honors, said Harry. It's so great.
And Umbridge appears in this one, right?
Ooh. Yeah.
Is that this chapter?
I think that's next, I want to say. Or maybe it's this one.
The 12th. Oh, well, whenever Mundungus appears.
I think it's actually this one, yeah. That's the end of this one.
Yeah, little woman, bow on top her head. Look like a toad. I was screaming.
Right?
I am so mad she's back. And I'm like, is that her actual job? Like, to go around to everyone and do that? Or does Umbridge know there's Horcruxes somehow? Because the options are Umbridge knows there's Horcruxes, or Umbridge is doing this to everybody all day, and that's her full-time job, is to, like, accost people.
Yeah.
And then she just thought this locket was pretty and she wanted it.
Yep.
You think it's that?
I think she's reprehensible.
She is.
I think her motive is, I think she uses the law to her own advantage.
Yeah.
She confiscates items and then she keeps them. It's like the equivalent of this is like insider trading. I don't want to compare.
Mr. Weasley do that?
Yeah, but there's, she does. I feel like there's a difference.
Because you like Mr. Weasley.
I like Mr. Weasley and I hate Umbridge pretty much. That is the only reason. No, I think Mr. Weasley is doing this. Yeah. That's a phenomenal point.
Because, like, if you didn't already know she was a bitch from, like, the beginning, you wouldn't really think that it's bad that she's keeping a locket, because Mr. Weasley does that to stuff all the time.
Yeah.
So, like, if you took just this section of the story, you would be like, oh, I guess, like, Ministry of Magic people, like, have a little superiority thing that do that. But it's just because you know both of their previous stories. I'm with you. I don't think we need to be consistent in that. We can't hate Umbridge.
Yeah.
But
perfect. I also think Mr. Weasley is doing this with items already confiscated. Maybe he has like a rule that he doesn't take his own confiscated items, but they have like a bin and he goes through them and he takes whatever he wants after that. Umbridge seems to like something and confiscate it for the reason that she wants that. I don't think Mr. Weasley is probably doing that so much. I think he's just like taking the leftover trash that they have and he is obsessed with it.
Okay.
That's my
What did you just say?
justification for
She's
that.
like above the law, or she like?
Yeah, she thinks she uses the law to her own advantage.
Okay, and then Mr. Weasley rewrites the law so that there's purposeful loopholes
Yeah.
for him.
That's a great point. Yeah, he has the loopholes in there so he can kind of do whatever he wants. Both of them are not. It's
Maybe
not
they're
ideal.
parallel characters.
Yeah, honestly, Mr. Weasley's loopholes in this law are probably what make Umbridge do this. Because she's not going, because the law for her is it. But she like uses the law to her own advantage. I don't think she would ever go outside of the law. She again reminds me of a lot of people, like I think the equivalent is like insider trading. She reminds me of someone in our government.
I think I know.
I'll go unnamed. Who is the greatest insider trader of all time. And she was up like 45% last year in her trades. And there's lots of websites right now devoted to literally like marking her trades and like tracking what she does so that other people can do it and other people can make the same money that she's making. Because she's making millions. It's disgusting. And she's using it to her advantage. She's on all these congressional hearings and she's like using that information in order to invest in whatever stock that she wants to invest in. It's ridiculous.
Yep.
Anyway, I'll get off my soapbox. Chapter 12 is Magic is Might. This one is their plan to get into the Ministry.
Why does the writing shift in this. Like, it's not Harry's perspective. It feels like the start of a book. As August wore on, the square of unkept grass in the middle of Grimmauld Place shriveled in the sun until it was a brittle and whatever, and like and brown. Like the writing was like boom. All of a sudden, it was so different.
Because it's a passage of time writing, so she has to show that they've been there for a little bit of time. So there's going to be weird time jumps in this book that are going to be really unexpected too. Like there's one in particular that happens that you're like, wait, how long was this chapter? And it's literally like 3 months, and you like it just passes over super quick.
Is that when they're camping?
Pretty much, yeah. So the time jumps. This is one of those time jumps in there where she's like, yeah, it feels like the start of another book, but she's just kind of putting in something that she can like have some kind of time lapse, and you can see that there's some time that's gone, and then you're back in Harry's head for really the rest of the chapter.
This chapter, I really feel like did not sink into me because I was kind of getting antsy of how long I was reading for. But they basically like break into the ministry, like they sneak in.
Mm-hmm. So they're doing like recon missions. So they're like polyjuicing, where they're going under the invisibility cloak, and they're just doing recon missions for the Ministry of Magic to see like what's going on and how they can infiltrate the ministry, and if they can see Umbridge, or like how they're like planning and plotting to go meet Umbridge and take the locket.
Just assuming she still has it.
Assuming she still has it. They don't even know if she still has it. Yeah.
You can't just go in the invisibility cloak and Accio the locket.
Oh, that's a good question. The locket. So Harry tried to Accio something. Accio Horcrux before, and it didn't work. And it wasn't even a Horcrux. It was just like a normal
They
object.
tried with the locket too.
Yeah. And nothing happened. So you probably can't like Accio some kind of like seriously powerful magical object. So they couldn't do that. And see, even if they go into the ministry, like there's got to be like the recon that they're doing, they have to figure out if it's like a viable path for them to take. If they can do that. If they go into the Ministry of Magic with an invisibility cloak, like maybe there's like, huge fans blowing that blow off any invisibility cloaks or something ridiculous.
What? I think this is like a huge margin of error. Just like the process of which they're doing this. Like 3 random people they don't even know. I feel like they didn't know who they were choosing at the beginning because they read their name tags and was like, this is you.
Yeah.
But there's so much, especially with the ministry being infiltrated right now. Like, I'm sure all these people are having side conversations, and there's a lot of that. Like, how am I supposed to react to what this person's saying? Like, am I a good person? Am I a Death Eater?
Yeah, they don't really know who they're stealing their identity of.
And all 3 of them going to felt wrong. Like, I think one should just go get the locket, come back. Like 3 to me is more risky.
Yeah, I'm actually with you.
Because if you just find like one random old wizard lady or old wizard man, and you can just like walk in, you're totally under the radar.
Yeah.
Like I don't know who Harry is, but he's like some big jack dude that like is apparently a Death Eater, I think. Honestly, I'm like, it's such like a spotlight on you. The first lady seems cool.
Yeah, their plan should be like go impersonate like the low people, go impersonate like a maintenance worker, and sneak into Umbridge's office under the guise of you're cleaning it, and like look for the office. I'll lock it. Like something basic. Yeah. And that doesn't need a whole lot of bells and whistles behind it. Honestly, their plan sucks.
It does. For as long as they took to plan this.
Yeah.
Terrible execution.
Yeah, agreed. And I'm surprised Hermione didn't come up with some better plan as well.
I'm assuming it all goes south. Like, I don't see this working out. Because this chapter ends with the elevator opening and there's Umbridge right there.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just hit her with an Avada Kedavra. Boom.
I know, right? Just drop her dead. But what if she's not? What if she doesn't? They need information, so they got to take her alive.
Why? What does she have?
The locket. What if she doesn't have the locket and gave it up, and they kill her, and then all of a sudden they don't know where the locket is? It's cold.
That's true.
She doesn't seem like the kind of person who would give up the locket, to be honest.
You could just sell it, like offer her enough money.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think as soon as you're like, I want the locket, she's gonna be like, why do you want the locket? What's the locket worth?
Yeah.
But maybe she knows, or maybe she's obsessed with Slytherin. Because this is the Slytherin's air locket thing,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yep. Do you think that she knows what this object is?
Probably. She's probably like a freak for the Slytherins and like
Yeah.
a kiss up to all of them.
Yeah.
Because she's so evil. Yeah, I feel like she would know, or she's related to that other lady that like originally Tom Riddle stole it
Hepzibah
from.
Smith. Ooh.
And that's her like grandma.
Huh. Hold on.
Because they low-key seem similar to me. So maybe she's like, oh, this is my grandmother's locket. And then maybe she doesn't realize it's Slytherin and she thinks it's like her own.
Okay, so she is related to the Selwyns, not the Smiths. So there was like something in my brain that I was like bells and whistles were going off, being like, was she related to the Smiths? And that's why she thought it was like hers, but it's not. She just has this object probably because she likes it. She thinks it's valuable.
So close. So then I guess she's obsessed with Slytherin, maybe.
Yeah.
There's like a Slytherin emblem on this thing, or no?
Yep. There's a snake. There's a serpent on it.
Yeah. What house is she? She go to Hogwarts? Why don't you know all of this? You're supposed to know everything.
Yeah, she was in Slytherin.
That makes sense.
Super ambitious. Yeah, that makes sense. I was going to say Ravenclaw potentially, but
Ooh.
she's not smart enough to be in Ravenclaw. So she's in your house. Sorry about that.
Oh, well. Aren't we all?
There's something that happens at the beginning of this chapter as well that they are talking with Phineas Nigellus, and Hermione throws the bag onto the kitchen table with the usual.
Wait, what?
She throws her bag onto the kitchen table with the usual sonorous clanking crash. Sorry, said Ron, but Harry understood. The painted image of Phineas Nigellus Black was able to flip between his portrait in Grimmauld Place and the one that hung in the headmaster's office at Hogwarts. The circular tower top room where Snape was no doubt sitting right now, in triumphant possession of Dumbledore's collection of delicate silver magical instruments, the stone pensive, and the sorting hat, and unless it had been moved somewhere else, the sword of Gryffindor. Do you think that Snape has used the portrait to spy on them? Is that how they were found?
I don't think the Order was meeting in Grimmauld Place at that point, though, right?
No, but so the beaded bag, the portrait of Phineas Nigellus. Oh yeah. That's a good point. She takes it and she puts it in her bag, but it wasn't there to begin with. It was in 12 Grimmauld Place, yeah. But do you think that Sirius has Snape is going to spy on them with this?
Not now that it's in the bag.
But do you think that like Hermione's precautions are good enough?
Yeah, I think that was a really great idea.
Love that. Okay.
But I feel like other people have definitely spied in there. Like Dumbledore was using that all the time.
Yeah, right?
So maybe McGonagall communicated really fast when she was headmaster for like a week. And then, yeah, I mean, I just don't think the timeline lines up there. I don't know where the Order was when they were planning the escape with the 7 Potters. But they, I feel like, definitely would have thought of that.
Yeah. Yeah. Whatever their plans are for anything, I feel like their plans just never really work out that well. They don't have great plans, to be honest.
I feel like their plans are too big. Like, there's too many people involved.
Yeah.
You need a lot of people and you need a lot of coverage of different places, but at some point...
Their plans are for, like, mass wars rather than, like, stop bringing so many people. Do, like, small little missions. Yeah, like, even with what you were saying before, the 3 of them shouldn't be going. It should just be one of them. And they should, like, go as very innocuous people. Like, very... Is innocuous the right word? What does innocuous mean?
No idea. Couldn't tell you.
Very, like,
innocuous?
I think it's, like... Yeah, not harmful or offensive. Go as very non-harmful and non-offensive people. Where like no one's gonna get mad at them for going in, or like Umbridge is gonna be like, oh, I need this person. Just go in as like, maintenance workers, and then go check out Umbridge's office. Then you can kind of progress from there. It's the same thing with the other plan that they had with the Seven Potters.
Yeah,
They're
because
not the greatest planners.
I remember being like, if you just kick Harry out the door and tell him to run down the streets, like that might be a better option.
Yeah, honestly.
But they didn't ask us, so
we'd have better plans than them, for sure.
Yeah, Voldemort would be long gone if we were in charge. I probably couldn't even apparate at this point. 5 years later.
Stop it. You'd be so good. You'd be the best apparator
I'd be a
ever.
great wizard.
You'd be the best wizard.
I'd get everything on my first try.
You're a Slytherin. Of course you'd be good.
I think like a 50-50 Slytherin Ravenclaw would be like the most powerful wizard if they came in like halves.
Okay.
No offense to the Puffs.
There is one thing that everyone wants. Maybe not more than everything else, but this is something that gets like circulated on social media every once in a while. And people we've seen like in wizarding history, you've seen villains from like every side of Hogwarts houses. But the one that people want to see the most is from Hufflepuff house. They want to see like a villain who's a Hufflepuff, because they say the loyalty aspect of like a Hufflepuff and like how the person would get other people on their side would be really fascinating to watch. And they say that would probably be the most dangerous of all of the villains. Maybe not the smartest, maybe not like the the most powerful or best wizard, but that person would have the masses on their side.
No way.
Dude, that is Hufflepuff quality. Loyalty. This person would be loyal to the day they die. There's a character right now.
Like if there's a uprising of like a one wizard, like a Voldemort situation?
So yeah, so like right now, so even I'm saying like, let's go through this situation. This is a fun little exercise we can do. Let's say there's a villain in every single house of Hogwarts.
Yeah.
So we're seeing one currently from Slytherin. From the Slytherin house. Let's say they get overthrown. And I'm going to make a House of the Dragon comparison with this as well in a second, because I'm watching this and to me it seems like there is someone who is a Hufflepuff house. They're not a villain. They're like a good character, because Hufflepuff, we don't produce villains. We only produce good characters. But the way people fight for this character is next to none. It is
in the House of Dragon?
Yeah. So, okay. But let's talk about this. So Slytherin, if the Slytherin villain was defeated, what is going to happen after? Are his followers going to continue his legacy or not?
I see where this is going. No.
Nope. You're right.
But the Hufflepuffs are. It's going to continue for generations.
Yep. So even if their leader is slain, that loyalty that people were attracted to this leader by is going to go like wildfire.
But loyalty is like ignorance sometimes.
But yes, 100%. 100% agreed. It's ignorance, but it doesn't matter because we're loyal to this person. We don't care.
So in that sense, you're the most powerful like force, just because it's like undying.
Because whoever the villain would be, it wouldn't necessarily be so much about that villain. It would be about like what it would be about that villain. We just have the loyalty for that person. But if that person died, I'm not saying this is when we pack it up and we don't do anything anymore. I'm saying, no, we fight to the death for this person. And every single person in Hufflepuff house who is attached to this villain would be like another villain that you have to beat. We'd all be like ready to fight and ready to like give everything we have, even if that person's dead.
It's very unified.
We're a unified house for sure.
I think like in the Slytherin's case, it would be just one after the next of just somebody always trying to claw to the top. So then in that way, I think it would be so bad because it would be like really violent.
People are trying to like outdo each other.
If we're in like a book world and people are just like killing each other all the time.
Yeah.
I think that would be bad for Slytherins because they would just like mass murder or like just one after the next going down, but everybody's on their own little path instead of like all of you Hufflepuffs marching down the same path.
Honestly,
Badgers,
Gryffindor, dude, you don't want to mess with a Badger.
Actually, those are so vicious.
Badgers are, if I would want one animal by my side in a fight, it would be a Badger.
Okay.
I was watching this this fight between 5 lions and 1 honey badger, and it was the coolest thing. I was like, people need to adopt a fighting style over the badger because this thing, I have like full long thoughts about this and theories about this. This is the coolest thing I've ever seen. I'm like, this typifies again even what Hufflepuffs are about. You're not the greatest planner. So like when I am looking at if I am looking at like an MMA match and there's 2 people fighting, there's a lot of downtime where the people are like looking for an in and looking for a move. And if like you're in a boxing match, you're like sitting and waiting. You block a punch, you might throw a punch, then you sit and wait for like a few seconds, and then you do the same thing. You like throw a punch, the other person might block it, or like you might dodge it. There's like a lot of in between. I watched the fight the other day on YouTube between 1 honey badger and 5 lions, and this thing, there was no downtime. And it was like the lions were running away and it was like running after them. All the lions were circled it. This thing would go and bite one of the thing's noses and would not hesitate and turn around and go after another one straight out. And then like it would intimidate that one. And as soon as that honey badger saw it was intimidated, it would turn around and no hesitation would go after anotget lion. It was the coolest fighting style I've ever seen in my life. I'm like, if someone boxes like that or like does it, you can't because you'll probably get ruined. But if you had like a honey badger mentality where you're just going after someone, I'm like, that is Hufflepuff House as well. Where if our villain leader, if our villain leader gets taken over, we don't care and we're still going strong. We're still gonna dominate. We're still gonna like, I'm so proud of this
in
house.
your bones when you watch that.
I think Ravenclaw would be a very scary villain as well. I think a Gryffindor villain would be the easiest one to defeat, to be completely honest. They're brave.
Gryffindor's like a Napoleon to me.
Ooh, yeah, that's a good one, actually.
Ravenclaw's like a Hitler.
Whoa!
And then...
You're just Slytherin, so you don't want to say Hitler is Slytherin.
Yeah, no, Slytherin is very Hitlery, actually. Maybe Hufflepuff is like the fruit punch thing.
The what?
Like the mass genocide.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Who was that again?
The fruit punch mass genocide?
Yeah. Or that's not fruit punch. That's what the saying is. What nation was that? Should we edit this out?
No way. It's all staying in. Yeah, what nation is that?
I'll find it.
Jonestown. Drink the Kool-Aid.
Yeah.
Yeah, the cult of Jonestown. Jonestown Massacre.
Yeah. That's very Hufflepuff.
That is kind of very Hufflepuff. We'd be like cults out in the woods. I think House of Dragon is portraying really, really well. The leader might not necessarily be a Hufflepuff. I think the leader is kind of Hufflepuff-ish. But it's portraying really well people's love for this person and their like willingness to die for this person. There's like other like houses and like groups that are like, even though we don't know everything that's happening, we're gonna fight and die for this person because we really love this person. Hufflepuffs are dangerous, dude. You don't want to mess with us. This is just
I don't like identify with my house like that. Even if I was a Gryffindor, I feel like I'm in no man's land. Like you can't define me. Maybe I'll become a leader and I'll start a uprising. There we go. I'm Slytherin.
I'll be on your side. A Hufflepuff, you'll be on a Slytherin side. That'd be a wild combo.
If you went 2v2, which houses are going together?
That's a great question. What do you think?
I'm saying Gryffindor and the Puffs.
Yeah.
Ravenclaw and Slytherin.
Whose house would you want the most? You're a Slytherin.
Like, who do I want? I think I would want to be in Ravenclaw.
So you
and that was never an option.
I think you have Ravenclaw. I think you're half and half.
But I'm supposed to be half Gryffindor, half Slytherin. Or I was originally a Gryffindor, and now I'm just like evil in my old age.
Yeah, there you go.
I don't know. I feel like I should be a Hufflepuff, but I'm not. Definitely not. There's like very Hufflepuffy aspects of me.
We all have a little bit of each house in us.
Yeah. I'm a mix.
Yeah,
I'm
we're
a
all
twist.
We're all a mix.
Is that how you would do the 2v2?
Yeah, probably. I don't know. That's probably naturally how the 2v2 would go off. But I don't know if I would want Gryffindor on my side. I think I would want Ravenclaw on my side. Because we have the bronze and Ravenclaw has the brains.
You have the bronze?
Yeah, we're like
Hufflepuffs?
Yes. Dude.
No.
Yeah.
We should have a side debate about this too. Add this to the Dementor debate.
Yeah.
Plug the Dementor debate. Go scroll back till you find it. It's the first video.
A little sneak peek.
This is so interesting because I have like zero allegiance to this, and you're very passionate about it.
Oh yeah, I'm very passionate about Hufflepuff House. You don't even want to get me started.
Get a badger tattoo.
I think you should definitely. I love a badger.
I just found the coolest tattoo artist ever, and they do like animals.
If you find me a cool badger, I will get a badger tattooed. Huh?
They're in Oregon.
Oregon.
I texted Mark, and I was like, we might have to make a trip out to the PNW, and he was like, didn't like. Cue Lizzie saying she only gets one tattoo. Oh my god, call me out.
Legitimately,
I'll send it to you.
If you, and then if you find some cool like badger that I like, I will get that tattooed. I'll get it on my like.
If we get a million streams.
Yeah, exactly. If we get, we'll do something. We'll do some kind of competition.
I will not get a Harry Potter tattoo.
But to me, a badger would be like cooler than like a Harry Potter tattoo. It'd be like half Hufflepuff House, but a honey badger is legitimately like my favorite animal. Them and a fox. They're like the two greatest animals ever.
If I send it to the
Yeah, I'll find it.
Yeah, you'll open your DMs.
Yeah, I don't really ever anymore, but I'll find it now.
Go check. It's there. I would get a fish tattoo. She does some cool sorry, this is like not this is totally different.
We'll just end the podcast and talk about fish tattoos. Yeah. Anything else for these chapters that you want to talk about? I think we're good.
I don't know. We can hit it tomorrow if we.
Yeah, exactly.
Do.
We're just gonna knock through some of these tomorrow. Well, thanks for joining us on a journey of Harry Potter and the First Time Readers.
See ya.
Bye.